Post from Shinku, 90. How do you handle a parent who constantly lets you down, even when you've made your needs clear? I had my baby about 5 weeks ago and, like many new moms, asked my own mom to come help out for the first week. I even paid for her flight, and when she asked if my sister could come too, I covered her ticket as well. They arrived, and I thought I'd have some support. But after a mere 6 hours of helping, they left to go sightseeing. They went to the beach, did all the touristy stuff, and pretty much ignored me and the baby. They didn't even offer to make us food. A few times, they made breakfast for themselves, but not for me or my husband. One day, I didn't get to eat until 1 p.m. because the baby was keeping me busy, and they just left. I took out board games, hoping for some bonding time, but they were always too busy. When they finally left, I was actually relieved because it was like having house guests, not support. Weeks went by, and my mom never texted or called to ask how I was doing. She did ask about the baby, but mostly because she wanted pictures. When I sent one, she immediately posted it on social media, even though I'd been crystal clear I didn't want my baby's pictures online. When she asked for more, I ignored her. Now she's upset with me, not talking, and offering no support or advice. I was planning to visit my family for Christmas, but I canceled the trip. I feel no support from them, and honestly, I'm wondering if there's even a relationship left to save. I had hoped my mom would step up, but this experience has just reminded me of all the times growing up when she wasn't there. Maybe the real mistake was expecting her to be different this time.
Alright, let's dive into the next story and see what else Reddit has in store for us.
Next post from Winter Donkey 3333. My parents went too far and took all my devices I legally bought, limited me where I can go, and now want to limit what time I can sleep till. All because I messed up. I just turned 18 a few months ago. I'm a male. From 17 to 18, my parents must have expected some kind of magical transformation from me. But I'm still the same me. I sleep in a lot when I can, and use my devices since they are my biggest hobby, and listen to music like NF when I can. They expect me to do so much, but I just turned 18 and have nothing. So one day, on a Monday on 2:50-ish a.m. Before that I couldn't sleep, since a noise outside my room woke me up, and my guinea pig was alarmed by it till close to 2 a.m. I too was alarmed by it. It sounded like something fell and banged outside of my room. So I decided to walk around while listening to music, so maybe I could try and get tired again. But at 4 o'clock, after close to 2 hours of music, I was about ready to get to bed. But, since my bedroom is downstairs, and since there is a straight walkway to the upstairs door, I saw it open and there was my dad. He has work early in the morning, so he gets up really early to get ready so he can't be late. We just stared at each other, till my dad said, "What the hell are you doing awake?" I tried stating the truth over and over, saying that I couldn't sleep, and a noise woke me up, and my loud mouth of a guinea pig kept me up. And still did till close to 5 a.m. that same day. He shook it off, and said, "I bet you haven't slept at all." Well, I did, but I woke up at 2 a.m. due to something outside of my room falling over. I still don't know what it was till this day. I knew I was in trouble, but what would soon come was much farther than I'd thought it'd go. I woke up the next day totally dreading whatever was gonna come, and went upstairs to see my younger sister and mom at the table. Let's call my sister Jenny and my mom. Mom. Jenny, you're telling me he was up till 4:30 in the morning? Mom, yes, according to your father he was up till 4:30. My mom and sister were talking about my apparent mess up. Sure, I messed up, should have listened to my music in my room. Yet again, my room is cramped since I recently got a new desk that takes up a lot more room than I thought. For this example I'll call myself Raider. Mom, Raider, why the hell were you awake so late? The first thing I told you last night was to not stay up late. You do realize we are gonna have to punish you, right? And we are gonna take your devices. I remembered clearly not to stay up late, yet again I did mess up. I can admit that. I shouldn't have been up listening to music. I was obviously in a bad mood. I had little sleep from before the noise woke me up, and before my guinea pig would make his squeaks at the tops of his little lungs. Me, well, I own them, I legally bought them. They are mine and you can't take them as you wish. I shouldn't have said that, but I was right. Yet again. Their house, their rules. And man, that caused some drama. I'm gonna fast forward a little, since my parents limited my electronic use as in the post, and I don't have much time. Since less than 5 days ago, I can't go anywhere. No stores, not for a drive, not even around my block. My devices are in a lockbox every day and I need to earn them back. All my handhelds, and even my iPod Touch I paid $35 on eBay for. I can't listen to music. NF means so much to me. So when I had that taken, I wasn't okay, and became emotionally unstable beyond what I could handle. And this morning made it all the more infuriating, it put me over the edge. I asked to sleep in a little longer through a text. Since I have my phone in my room. But at this point a flip phone would do more. Not even kidding. And that set my mom off, now she's trying to limit how long I sleep. She also threatened this morning to take my devices out to the storage unit. And my devices have lithium batteries. And I know the harsh colds aren't good for them, and my PS Vita isn't built for that weather. Our cold winters are brutal on electronics. Even our cars. She says anything more than 10 hours is enough. And she might wake me up even earlier. So not 10 hours, probably really early. I have less freedoms than my 9-year-old brother. He can at least do what he wants without eyes over my shoulders. Wake up when he wants, do what he wants. I barely found time to even type this. Thank God I type fast so I can get this out here. Now I go to bed at 9:30. Same time as my littlest siblings. And my mom is gonna come into my room to make sure I am sleeping and not awake. So much for my privacy now. Like that's gonna fix anything. My house might be starting to turn into a prison system if this continues. My mom has already gone into my room more than 3 times these past 2 days, so I'm beyond angry. It's not like I have a job, a car of my own, or really anyone close by to help me. So I'm kinda in a bind. I have nowhere or nothing. Not even respect. Can someone tell me anything to get my stuff I paid for back? Or even to get some of my normality back till this blows over? Please, anything. If I need to, I'll leave. Or am I overreacting and need to calm down? I don't need them to search my room. Don't worry, I'm not hiding anything. But still, that's a massive invasion of my privacy. And I want the stuff I paid for back. And get some of my life back to me, anything helps. I'll update you guys if anything more happens. Seeing all the support so far has made me realize there are people who can help. I've just recently joined Reddit and never thought I'd be on this page like this, but thank you all for this. Update. Okay, so I talked to my parents, at the dinner table. I asked them if I could go get a job application at the closest retail store. Guess what they said? No. They told me, I need to work on myself before I think about a job or anything like that. So much for my independence, so it seems now I can't get a job because they see me as, I need to work on myself. A job would work on myself. It teaches being on time, being a good person, and being respectful. Honestly, I can't take it, it's driving me to insanity. I can't do anything. They told me I'm not caught up in my school. Which is partly true. But those are extra classes like typing and such. I didn't bring up my electronics to avoid more drama, but I can't, I just can't. Does it help that I also have Life 360 on my phone so they can track me like an animal? I can't even get a job if I want. And they went as far to say I can't even lend the car. Sure, it's in their name, but I can't go anywhere. Well, it's been this way for a week anyways. So my anger was more present then. Please, I need anything. I'm about ready to join the military for freedom again. Man, who would have thought I'd consider the military, but I think I'd be a good sidelines man. Like intercom or data management. I'm good with electronics. I'll update you guys again if there is any more. And please. Someone, anyone, can I join the military and not have my parents try to keep me here with their "he still has school" nonsense? Update. Now that I'm limited in my electronics, the use of the car, and now I can't get a job. Seems I got a ton of school and depression ahead. I hate feeling useless. And this tops it. I feel like I lost everything. I may be dramatic, but I lost even my trust for my parents and lost my privacy. I might need to call someone. I'm tracked like a dog on Life 360, so I can't go anywhere. I can't go apply for a job, I can't get help, so that means I can't get a therapist. Which means I can't also get a credit card or bank account of my own. That also means I can't deposit my saved money into a bank so I can use it for a backup plan. Since they could take that. It doesn't mean they will, but they could. It's like they are trying their hardest to keep me in this hellhole. I'm starting to resent this place even more. I hate to sound dramatic. But my house even before this post and my issue with staying up wasn't the greatest. The stress was unbearable. My family had another baby, we got 3 dogs in 1 year. One of the dogs wants to start dog fights, so we have to always separate them. My dad almost could have died of a fib, a heart problem. And I had my emotional reality check, and I wanted a wife. So yeah, till then, I'll update y'all again soon.
Alright, let's dive into the next story and see what else Reddit has in store for us.
Next post from Flame Samurai 63. My entitled aunt robbed my great-grandma of a funeral. It's been nearly 9 months since everything went down, but I'm still pissed off about it. So, my great-aunt, EA for entitled aunt, has never been the most pleasant person to be around. She's cunning, headstrong, and just flat-out mean. That being said, she was a well-respected member of our family for several years, since she used to work at a successful law firm well before I was even born. She was fairly well off, all things considered. Nice house, nice car, the works. Me and my family wouldn't see her often, but she was a decent person when we were around. That is, until late 2022. It was discovered that EA had been found guilty of professional misconduct at the law firm, and as a result, she was disbarred. The life she had worked for came crumbling down on top of her, and she lost just about everything. So, she decided to move in with my great-grandma, only a few blocks away from my house. Now, my great-grandma was a lovely woman. She was the type of person that would give her last penny to a homeless person. However, she was 95 at the time, and her dementia was starting to worsen. So, when EA moved in, my family just assumed she was there to be a caretaker for my great-grandma. And, to an extent, she was, albeit not a very good one. EA's true colors started to show after she started remodeling my great-grandma's house. My father's a carpenter, so he was asked to help with the remodeling. He begrudgingly accepted since he didn't have a job and needed the money. We're by no means a poor family, but keeping the income steady isn't always easy. While helping with the house, my father would witness EA mistreating my great-grandma on a constant basis. Only verbal abuse from what I can recall, since she still fed and bathed her. Still, seeing this made my dad very angry. To make matters worse, the remodeling was constantly stressing my great-grandma out, though EA could not be bothered to give half of an EFF. Towards the latter half of 2023, I tried my hardest to stay away from EA, only going around her if it meant visiting my great-grandma. We knew that she'd pass on eventually, but when it would happen was a guessing game. We thought the funeral was all planned out. My great-grandma told my mom on multiple occasions that when she did eventually pass away, she didn't want a big funeral. Just family and friends. And she wanted to be buried next to her husband, my great-grandpa. Apparently, EA had different plans. Upon passing, she wanted to bury my great-grandma straight away in a concrete box. No funeral. No visitation. No coffin. Just shoved in a box and put in the ground. My family was livid, to say the least. It's also worth noting that my great-grandma made the mistake of making EA the power of attorney, which, in my home state, trumps the deceased party's will, well before she passed. Essentially, EA had all this power, and my family could do nothing but try to bargain with her. Here's where the crap storm began. After several lengthy discussions, my grandma eventually convinced EA to at least bury my great-grandma in a coffin instead of a concrete box. Unfortunately, she couldn't convince her to arrange a proper funeral. In late February earlier this year, my great-grandma passed away at the age of 96. My mom and I were lucky enough to say our final goodbyes to her shortly before she passed. I was apparently the last person to say goodbye to her, as she passed away 15 minutes after I left. Unfortunately, some of my other family members didn't get to say goodbye. My grandparents and EA agreed to do the burial in early March at around 11 a.m. That way, we could all say our goodbyes then immediately get some lunch afterwards. EA buried my great-grandma an hour and a half early. My grandpa never got to say goodbye to his own mother because my EA claimed that the buriers wanted to get it out of the way, when in reality she just wanted to save money. My dad and grandpa didn't end up going to lunch afterwards, and honestly, I don't blame them. EA's basically dead to us now. I am so effing pissed off. I'm almost 99% sure EA altered my great-grandma's will while she was still alive so she'd be able to keep as much of her money as possible after she died. Unfortunately, there's no way to prove that she actually did, and we can't make a case against her. To add a cherry on top of this heaping pile of crap, my mom paid one of the local funeral homes to publish cards to let everyone know about my great-grandma's passing. She was fairly well known in the community. But a few days after passing the cards out to local businesses, EA went around collecting the cards because they go against Grandma's will. I have no idea what she did with the cards, but my guess is that she threw them away. As I mentioned earlier, it's been nearly 9 months since this all went down, but I will forever carry a deep resentment towards EA for how she treated my great-grandma. Mistreating and manipulating an old woman with dementia is straight-up evil, and I'm glad EA is no longer in my life.
That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed these insane stories. Hit that like button, and let's keep the fun going by subscribing. Catch you soon. Ooh, ah, ah.